Hi, I'm Laura and welcome to class today. Today's class is going to be focusing on mobility of the spine. So if you do have any spinal conditions, please seek medical advice before you do take part in this class. The only thing that you may need today is an overball. If you don't have an overball, you can use a densely rolled up towel. That will work absolutely fine. So before we get going, make sure that you look after your body as we go through, and as always, choose the option that is best for you today. Let's get started. So bring your feet to the bottom of your mat and just pop your ball or towel to the side where it's handy. We're going to take a moment to roll all the way down onto our back. Okay, so heels a comfortable distance from your bottom and in line with your two sitting bones. Check that your knees are the same width of your feet, and we're going to relax the shoulders, the pelvis and the rest of the spine down. So as we spoke about in a lot of classes, or every class, where your pelvis and your spine needs to be. So we're going to do that before we involve the ball. So I want us to check our feet. So we've set the feet, the knees and the shoulders. Tuck the chin in so the back of the neck is long and our eye gaze is forwards on the ceiling. Now in this position we want to be able to bring the back of the rib cage down. And if you need to at any point, you can use a small towel underneath your head, as long as we're not bringing our pelvis higher than our head. So in a bridge or anything like that, that's when you would need to get rid of the towel. Once your rib cage is down, bring your hands in a triangle to the front of your pelvis. And that's identifying where your two pelvic bones and your pubic bone are, your pelvic triangle. And you want to bring those three bones so that they're level with each other. So make any adjustments, moving your pelvis forwards, backwards, or either side to make them level. We should feel how the lower back now has a space between the mat or is the lightest part of your spine. Okay, from here, find your thoracic breathing. So breathing in through the nose to widen the ribs, and out through the mouth to narrow the rib cage. And this particular way of breathing helps us to maintain our deep abdominal connection. So let's find those muscles. On your next out breath, visualize narrowing the four bones at the bottom of your pelvis to lift the pelvic floor. Keep that connection, and then next, as you breathe out, draw the navel to the spine to engage your transverse abdominis. Continue to breathe and engage those two muscles. Now on your next out breath, we're going to tip our pelvis backwards, rest your arms down, and we're going to start to roll up through our spine into a bridge. As we come up to the top, this is where we're going to take our ball, our towel, underneath the back of the pelvis, definitely not the lower back, and then rest your pelvis back down. Now because the pelvis is higher now than the rib cage, we're not going to have the entire ribs down depending on how large the ball or towel is. We want to find that we are in neutral again. So here the pubic bone is going to be slightly higher than your two pelvic bones. And arms to the side again. Find your thoracic breath, and on your next out breath we're going to tip the pelvis back, just as we did to bring ourselves up to the bridge, but this time not lifting the pelvis. On your in breath, you're going to drop the tailbone and sit bones down into the ball or towel, tipping your pelvis forwards, lifting the lower back. And then exhale again, using the abdominal muscles drawing in to initiate that backwards tilt. So by moving the pelvis backwards and forwards, we're bringing the spine into flexion, which is when it rounds, the pelvis tips back, and extension when the pelvis tips forwards and the lower back arches. Now naturally the lower back is in extension, so we want to work more so through flexion, that backwards tilt and the abdominals rounding the spine. So you're going to feel how it is the job of the abdominals to do the flexion in our lower back. Now bring the pelvis so that it's back to the midpoint between your backwards and forwards tilt. This time we're going to rotate the pelvis. We're going to rotate it to the right and then to the left. Now as we do this, we're trying to keep our two pelvic bones level with each other, or in line with each other. And by that I mean that they're not lifting up to where the rib cage is. So the space between your front bottom ribs and your two pelvic bones remains the same, as your pelvis rotates to the right and to the left. And notice that my knees aren't swaying to the right or the left either. They're staying over and in line with my ankles. Now once you're even in your rotation, we're going to come back to center. And we're going to draw some circles with our pelvis now. So just check that your pelvis feels heavy on the ball. Your feet are heavy and relaxed into the floor. We're going to start with a backwards tilt. So we're tipping our pelvis backwards, flexing our lower spine. We're now going to start to tip the pelvis to the right. You're going to tip the pelvis forwards towards your feet, to the left, and then into your backwards tilt again. So continuing circling this way, we're just going to do 2 more and keeping the pelvis heavy as we move. You may feel that one part or several parts of the movement feel restricted, and then we're going to reverse our circles going the opposite way around. The most tricky part is making sure that the back of your shoulders and your upper back stays heavy and your knees aren't swaying side to side. So we're going to level the pelvis this time and just take your feet slightly wider. Knees open wide as well and arms come a little wider too. So we're going to let the knees gently roll to one side. Let the pelvis roll. We're going to have to use some muscles now to make sure that we don't fall to the floor. And then we're going to come up and over to the other side. So as well as mobilizing the spine now, we're also mobilizing through the hip joints. The feet are wider to help us stabilize more. And we're just trying to keep the pelvis heavy, which is quite hard when you're trying to keep your body stabilized. And quite relaxed as you do this, and then come back to center. Walk your feet back in. Lower your arms. Take your backwards tilt and we're going to start to roll up through your spine. Releasing the ball or towel from the back of your hips, pop it to the side and then roll the spine all the way back down. As you find your neutral alignment, bring your feet and your knees together, and this time take your arms wide again, turning your palms up to the ceiling. Backs of your shoulders stay into the ground. Coming into a hip roll, so we rotate the pelvis. This time the knees are going to come with us. So the left hip and the left foot comes off the ground, and then we come back to center, keeping that engagement of your center line. So inner thighs, pelvic floor, transverse abdominis, and our upper back muscles are help keeping our shoulders retracted, our chest wide. Now this time as we go to the right, we're going to increase rotation, bringing it into our neck. So turn your head in the opposite direction to your knees and bring the hips and knees back to center and the head. So we inhale to rotate and exhale, come back to center. Keep the shoulder blades shuffling down the back. So this is going to give us a stretch through the neck muscles. And this time, can you slide the arm up the ground? This is going to increase the stretch all the way down our side body to our hip. So increasing the mobility through our thoracic area, our rib cage area. This tightness of the muscles, as well as weakness of the muscle, is going to inhibit mobility. So this is why we want to work strength and flexibility and mobility at the same time. Now as we come back to center, lower the arms, and we're going to part our feet again back to hips distance. Let the palms come back down to the floor. Taking some shoulder bridges now. So taking an in-breath, as you breathe out, tip your pelvis backwards. Try and feel that you're imprinting your vertebrae down, so the abdominals are drawing the back body into the floor. The pelvis tipping backwards and the abdominals helping to round is then going to peel the spine bone by bone off the mat. When we get to the top, we're checking that we've got a sense of length forwards through the thighs, lift up with the pubic bone, and a softening down of your rib cage. Let's roll back down. So keeping that softening down of your rib cage, that tip back of your pelvis, that scoop of your abdominal muscles. Now the next time we roll up, so let the pelvis relax to neutral before we go up again. We're going to let the pelvis lift, the spine lift to where we feel comfortable. And we're going to lift the arms up overhead, let them find the floor, let them relax into the ground. And then we're going to roll back down. So this is going to mobilise more through the thoracic spine again, because the muscles of the thoracic spine around the thoracic spine and rib cage are in a lengthened position. Lower the arms. We're just going to do this one more time. So pelvis tips back, roll up, lift in through the pubic bone, floating the arms up. Let them find the mat, relax them. Take an in-breath and then exhale. Try and create space between each rib, each vertebrae. And then when the spine finds the mat, pelvis finds the mat, lower the arms. Roll all the way to your side and push up to a sitting position. We're going to need our ball again here. And what we're going to do is take a mermaid position. So either taking your right leg to the front, left leg to the back, or feel free to bring the legs forward into a diamond. So either of those positions are good, and if you need to sit on a block, that's absolutely fine also. So I'm going to come to here, and I'm going to take hold of the ball. Okay, the ball is going to sit by you, and your fingertips are going to face sideways, and your palm is going to rest on the ball. Turn your upper arm bone outwards, and then stack your spine. Pelvis in neutral. You may have your left hip slightly higher off the mat than your right, and that's absolutely normal. Now take an in-breath, lift your left arm up. Now without side bending, I'd like you to reach the left arm. Reach it longer and feel a sense of dropping your left hip down as we lift the side ribs up. And we're just going to lower. So if that's enough, you're getting enough of a stretch, you can stay with that. So breathing in, exhaling, finding that side stretch. Now if you can, we're going to start to roll the ball away. It's going to roll up the forearm. This is going to increase the stretch. It's going to make it more challenging to keep your left hip down. Now to come back in, draw the right armpit and shoulder blade down your back and then lift. Excellent. We're going to do this one more time. So lowering down, breathe in. Exhale, reach. Inhale, start to roll away. Draw both shoulder blades down. And exhale, slide in and release. Now this time, we're going to take the ball in our left hand and right fingertips come to the ground. So we're going to lift up, do the same setup. We reach with the left side of our body. This time the right hand reaches further, the elbow is going to bend as we come over. Left hip pulls into the mat. Now turning your chest, starting to face your right thigh. We're going to lower the left arm so that the ball finds the ground. Keep pushing your left hip down. Take an in-breath. As you breathe out, you're going to reach further with your left arm, but drop further down with your left hip. So abdominals pull back into your spine to help keep your pelvis still. Release, so lift the chest and ease out a little. And then exhale, reach. Inhale, return. Exhale, reach. Inhale, return. Now we're going to exhale, reach, and we're going to stay here. Now use your right hand to help you. Hold on to the ball, and you're going to turn your chest to find your side bend. So we're trying to go underneath your arm, roll the left shoulder back, and then come all the way up. Okay, before we do the other side, bring the legs one on top of the other. Place the ball where it's going to go underneath the side of your rib cage. Reach along with your underneath arm and then take a breath in and reach over with your top arm. We want to check that your two pelvic bones are stacked. Okay, so we're our shoulders, and we're just going to let the underneath leg come further forward, the top leg lift and lower behind. And we're here. We're going to take some breaths into the left side of our body, the top side of our body. So breathe in, try and reach the top arm and the top thigh bone away from each other. And then exhale, let the weight of your body sink and relax. And again, inhale, reach. Exhale, release. One more time. Now this time as you inhale, we're going to turn our chest. We're going to roll forwards over the ball, keeping the pelvis stacked. And then exhale, roll back. Now we're trying not to let the pelvis roll with us. So your two pelvic bones are trying to stay as level as possible. This is going to give us a deeper stretch around our side body and help open up the thoracic spine more. Okay, this time we're in side flexion, so we're flexing the spine because one side is shortening compared to the other. But this time it's not forwards, it is sideways. As we come back to center after we went to the back, we're going to bring ourselves up. So lower this arm down, push up and bring your legs around to the opposite side. So choose the position that is best for your knees and your hips here. And the ball is going to be underneath your left hand now. So set up, turning the bicep outwards, taking an in-breath, lift the right arm up. Exhale, reach tall through that right side. And then release all the way down. So that might be enough, you stay with it. Inhale. This time exhale, side bend, inhale, slide away. Now this is a lot harder for me to stabilize my hips, so I'm not going to go as far this time. Pull down with your left shoulder blade to lift and then lower. Okay, one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, start to roll away. Exhale, pull the left shoulder blade down to lift you up. And then as the arm lowers, take the ball in the opposite hand. Breathe in, lift up. Same thing, we side bend. This time when we find our side bend, turn your chest to face your left thigh. Let the ball find the ground. And I'm really trying to round my spine. So my back ribs are lifting up. I'm trying to feel how my navel's rounding my lower back. Inhale, exhale, reach further. So I'm a lot tighter on this side. I definitely can't go as far as I did on the opposite side. So it really is about checking in to your body. It's normal to feel that it's more restricting on one side. So if that's the case, what you may want to do is do your less flexible side twice. Yeah. And then this time reach, use your underneath arm, turn your chest to face towards the ceiling to find your side bend, and then lift all the way up. Okay, coming down onto this side, so stack your legs, place the ball underneath the rib cage and lower yourself gently down. You may need a towel here to support your head, okay, if that's not so good for your neck. Take your top leg back, underneath leg forwards, and rest the top knee down onto the ground. Top arm reaches all the way over. So inhaling now, find your breath into the side of your rib cage and then exhale. Now this side for this exercise actually is a lot easier on this side. So different movements are going to feel different in your body. So we're going to go for the rotation now. We're going to inhale, turn the chest forwards, and then exhale, turn the chest back. So there's lots of muscles that attach from our spine to our rib cage to our pelvis, all around the central line of our body. So it's good to take the spine in lots of directions to help increase the mobility of those muscles to then relieve the spine. Okay, finding more mobility through the spine. So coming back to center this time, and we're going to push ourselves all the way up. Okay, we're going to come into a prone position. So now coming onto our front. In fact, before we do that, let's come onto our back. So bring the ball so that it's just around about below the shoulder blades. So we're going to do a little bit more mobility through the thoracic spine before we do the strengthening part. So we are going to come into pro, just not quite yet. Hands interlace and come behind the head again. Elbows are going to come narrow so that we're feeling that we can relax the shoulders down. It's a bit kinder to the shoulders. So tailbone, sit bones heavy. This time, because we're in inclined position with the head higher than the pelvis, the two pelvic bones are going to slightly be higher than your pubic bone. You're going to take an in-breath. I want you to start to feel how the hands pick the back of the skull up and lengthen the back of your neck. Chin stays towards the chest, and you're going to direct your chest bone upwards to the ceiling and back over the ball. So it's almost as if your chest bone is reaching past your nose, past your forehead, and up to the wall behind you. Now check here that we haven't tipped the pelvis forwards and arched into your lower back. Keep the pubic bone gently lifting up to the belly button, because we want to isolate this extension in our upper back, not our lower back. And when you're ready, draw front ribs down towards your two pelvic bones, lift the head and shoulders up. Let's go again. So reaching, chest bone back. I'm trying to increase, so my ribs are trying to slide away from my two pelvic bones, but my pubic bone's still lifting up. So I'm really opening the front of my spine, and in turn that's going to lengthen my abdominal muscles and open up the muscles between my front ribs, and then roll up. So it depends how tight you are as to how far you're going to go over the ball. How far you go is not important, because when we start to go out of our own range, then we start to feel how the shoulders may lift, pressure might be on the neck, you might be arching to the lower back, so you're just going to feel your lower back gripping. Now this time we're going to go over, and when we come back up, that's our last one. Okay. Now you can stay with this, so you're going to reach your arms forwards. We're going to do the same action, but this time we're going to take our arms overhead. I'm still keeping my chin tucked in. Maybe your head finds the floor, maybe it doesn't. We're going to take an in-breath, hold it here if you can. Arms start to lift, chin tucks in. The front of our neck is going to work because it has to help support the weight of our head. Just one more time. So we lengthen the chest up and over. Arms lift. Hold this position. Breathe in. And then exhale. Feel the abdominals engage to lift you up. Now to come off the ball, just gently roll to the side. And this time we are going to come onto our front. So the ball this time is going to go across the chest. And we're just going to take the hands in front of us. We're going to take our feet a comfortable distance. We're going to feel the pubic bone heavy and the belly lift up. Now I'm going to think of trying to round my chest over the ball so that my forehead comes down to my hands. And we're going to reverse that. So we're going to start to lift the forehead up. I'm going to start to reach my chest bone forwards, which is going to slide the ball forwards towards your hands. I'm gently going to draw my elbows back along the mat, which is going to encourage my chest to lift a little higher. Now, when we come to here, I want you to feel how your front bottom ribs are trying to push forwards to roll the ball away from you more, or towards your hands, but keep picking up the belly to spine, because we don't want to feel pinching in our lower back. And then lower your chest. Let's go again. So we lift up, reach, and then lower. Now this time when we come back, when we come up, we're going to change the position of our arms. So your arms are going to come wide, and you're going to lower your chest. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to lift up, but this time we're going to start to turn the chest to one side. You're going to turn your head and look over your shoulder. So you're trying to roll the ball towards one side of the mat. Come back to center. And try and roll the ball to the opposite side of the mat. Turn your head, look over your shoulder. and back to center. Last time each side. This feels really nice. Now the only time this may not be kind is if the ball or the towel that you may have underneath you is too large. You may need to make it smaller. And then as you come back to center, guys, take a little bit more flexion. So just round your spine forwards over the ball. Bring your hands by your shoulders, lift your head, keep the knees down and press all the way up. So just mind the ball out of the way. Reset, hands under shoulders, knees into hips, into quadruped. Finding a neutral spine, so the 3 bones at the front of the pelvis are level with the mat. Inhale. Exhale, tip the pelvis back, coming into a cat stretch. Start to round through your lower back, your middle back, the upper back, neck and head comes down last. And let's lengthen away, so we start to reach through the tailbone. Draw the shoulders down, start to lengthen through your lower spine, the waist, the rib cage, neck and head. We're going to do that one more time, so rounding, really lifting, trying to get the back ribs up, the navel, almost trying to lift up to the ceiling, and then lengthening away. Now this time, letting the tailbone lift and letting your chest reach forwards. Now from here, keep this position. You're going to tail wag to the right, turn your head, look at the pelvis, and then over to the opposite side. One more each way. And then as you come back to center, let the hips sit back, let your hands slide forwards along your mat to stretch out the side body, the entire spine. Now in this position, try and breathe into those tight areas. So it might be rib cage, lower back. Really good to practice your thoracic breath in different positions. So laying in your front, child's pose, that side lying stuff that we did today. And then roll your spine all the way up. So thank you for joining me for the class today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any requests for classes, please let me know, get in touch. And if you haven't already, subscribe below and click the bell icon for future notifications on classes. See you again soon. Bye.